Good evening. Welcome to the Tuesday, March 26th, 2019 regular Selectmen's meeting. Selectman Pendergast is out with the flu. We expect Rebecca shortly. She's running late from another meeting. Town manager's here, town clerk's here, various members of the public. And, please stand with me and salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order is the approval of our March 12th minutes.
I'll move the minutes as presented for March 12th.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. We have we have public comment. Is our first public comment. If you have a comment, please step to the podium. State your name and where you live. And please take no more than 5 minutes. All questions should be directed through the board. Chair.
Okay. Good evening, gentlemen. Melanie Olio, resident of Brook Road. We're here for the motion of paving of Brook Road. It's approximately a half a mile road from the mailboxes to the non-maintained road where there's the bridge where it's non-maintained. There are only 3 dirt roads left in the town of Berwick, and Brook Road is one of them. Increased traffic on Brook Road has increased due to the fact of more children living on the road are now of age, driving, and we have new residents on Brook Road as well. There's 11 homes before the non-maintained road on Brook Road, so there's one way in, one way out. So the traffic can be very heavy at times. And then there's 5 more homes, of course, on the non-maintained road. Again, one way in, one way out for them as well. 16 homes. 3 school buses travel Brook Road 4 times a day, which is 12 trips. Full-size capacity school bus weighs 36,000 pounds. The small-size capacity school bus is 10,000 pounds. Safety issue, not easily accessible for emergency vehicles to travel the road. Other vehicles often traveling Brook Road are oil deliveries, rubbish removal, etc. Heavy maintenance trucks. The other aspect would to resurface Brook Road. Grade and crown the road properly. Use compactable material. Referencing below is we had heard Pine Hill Road is being repaved, so it's going to be milled up. So could we use the mill for our road? Just a thought. Proper compacting practices by rolling once they do the grading, which has not been graded in a long time. They're using the backhoe, and it's not really working. Replace culverts. They're currently at 8 inches. They should be the 16. And cleaning the drainage ditches properly. And again, we understand there's been a lot of personnel turnover in the town of Berwick. For example, the winter snow plowing down Brook Road left access to only 1 lane travel a couple times. They would come up and down, but I think we saw them maybe 2 or 3 times. That was it. I mean, on the heavy snow days. And then also dragging a backhoe down Brook Road, throwing dirt, sand, rock over the potholes, where you can literally see the images of the potholes once the maintenance crew leaves Brook Road. It rains, your potholes back right up. So we had a few questions for the town manager. We don't believe you can answer these right now, but how much town roads repair funds have been spent for Brook Road over the past 2 or 3 years? Does the town of Berwick have a road grader as of yet? If not, will you continue to borrow South Berwick's as we did in spring of 2018, because the road really should be graded? Has there been any consideration of hiring an outside engineering firm to reevaluate the drainage of Brook Road and the culverts that are overflowing into driveways, making them impassable for a few of our residents? And what is the standard minimum load for a town road? For example, Wentworth Road's limit is 25,000 pounds, and we've got 36,000 pound school buses on a dirt road. Currently, there is apparently $600K in the budget for road repair. What does this consist of? And is it true that we are placing in the 2019 budget plan funds to pave Lovebrook Road?
Okay. According to my foreman, Lovebrook Road has not had its ditches done in over 12 years. So he is going out this week, or beginning of next week, to take care of that.
Okay.
Wasn't aware that there were culvert issues, that they're either undersized or whatever. So that needs to be addressed if it is. Just to beyond your questions, from my understanding, the material that's on that road is not very good, and it's pretty deep, where it's pretty lousy. So it's been piling up there for years, and underneath all that, there's clay, which needs to be removed. So that road needs a lot of work, which is going to cost a lot of money. So to answer that question, we do not have a grader, and I have no intention of purchasing a grader. I'd like to buy a small one, but right now I've got to get my roads. That's where the money is going to be going for the next 5 years, if these guys approve that. We have over $5 million worth of roads that need to be worked. Some of them are, even yours is a dirt road. If you need to go out and travel on Worcester Road, and you'll see a road that's really bad. It's held together by patch. On that road we're doing this year, at least of rebuilding it. I don't know the weights of what the roads should be. I just know that the bridges, like we have 2 bridges in town, each of those need to be replaced, $500,000 each. We've got them down to, on Diamond Hill, no more than 23,000 pounds. So that's a real problem. What else? So I think we can do the road ourselves without hiring engineers. We've been rebuilding roads like Diamond Hill. We're doing Wentworth. Some of the smaller roads, Pond Road and Beach Ridge, those have their final travel layer going on this summer. And Pine Hill is on the list because it's a very traveled road. I have limited things I can do with that because it's not wide enough, and I don't want to get into eminent domains to make it wider. I like it actually narrower because it hopefully slows people down. But it doesn't seem to right at the moment, even though it's pretty awful. But that needs to be ditched. We started that last year, and we need to finish it this year. I don't have an excavator. I have a backhoe with an excavator bucket, which takes a long time to do. We usually rent a excavator for a month, sometimes more. The cost of that is $10,000 to rent one for that long a period of time. I would like to have an excavator. Grader, the small grader might work better for us so we can keep up with the shoulder work, because what happens is if you don't continue to bring the material up around the shoulders and you have pavement, the edges are going to break, and that just ends up costing us more money. I have an engineer over in South Berwick who I could consult with. He has been very helpful if I have a question. South Berwick, I thought they were over there last summer. Robert told me today that they were not. So I'm a little concerned that we haven't had that road graded. And you're absolutely right, we do it with, I guess, a loader, and that doesn't do the job. And if I'm going to put more material down this spring or summer, it's going to be worked with a grader. My recommendation for just getting through this year is to make sure if the culverts need to be replaced, we replace them. We clean out the ditches and we stay on top of that on a regular basis. It's just that, and then we'll put down some decent material. If I can dig out the worst section and put material there, that would be beneficial. I can do it in sections where I could afford it. I can't pave it this year. And even if I were to rip it all up and put all new material in and roll it and compact it, I would still wait another whole year before I put pavement on it to make sure it settles properly.
Will it be in the budget for next year?
I can certainly put it in the budget for next year.
That would be
I
lovely.
move roads around. We have a 10-year to 20-year plan, and of course, it all depends on how much money I'm able to get. This is the first year we've had 600,000, and I hope it passes because I get complaints about roads more than any other complaint in town. This is the first I've heard of Lovebrook. Nobody's ever complained before, except the upper section, believe it or not.
Well, the
Not to me, anyway.
non-maintained, the non-maintained part, which is the upper section from the bridge.
Yeah.
Um, Okay.
Any other questions?
Well, no, and then, of course, our closing statements, we all pay the taxes of the town of Berwick. We don't use public water or sewer. We all have wells and septics. 16 homes, approximately, say, $7,000 a year for taxes. That's $112,000. We know half, 3/4 goes to educational tax, which is wonderful. We have children on the road, which we think is great. So I guess, where's the remainder of the funds go? Do they go to the road maintenance? I mean, I guess that was kind of our concern is, yes, everybody pays taxes, of course. But, again, it's been impossible to get into some driveways because of the culverts. They're not big enough. The water is seeping up over them. They're clogged. I don't, like I said, they haven't been cleaned in 12 years. That's a long time
Yes, it is.
to go through.
Way too long.
Have you come down Lovebrook Road?
I've been down there several times, quite more
I
often.
mean, now
than-
you've just put in the big thick stone, which is a little dangerous on our tires right now.
I haven't been out to see what they're using
Really
for stone, and
Yeah. And now it's just,
I'll
and
be
of
out.
course with the school buses going up and down, you can't help that. We do need the school buses and we love the school buses, but it's just, yeah.
If I can interject.
Sure.
This is public comment. This is really a policy issue.
Okay.
This is something that we should actually address in a regular
Okay.
part of the session, regular in the
Yeah.
public comment section.
Good.
So as far as the concerns I hear them all the time. I hear about roads, as Steve said, that's the number one thing people talk to me. As far as where your tax money goes, is police, fire, is the schools, obviously, but the running of the town hall,
Right.
is maintaining, all our other services. So it's not like we have your $120,000 that we can put into
No, I
a
know
road.
I know.
Is,
And I guess my only other concern is, this is my last remark, is my husband called the ambulance probably 2 years ago, and they came down a non-maintained road. Everybody does. So how do you get it on Google Maps that you can't come down that road? The poor fire truck came down, and he was just like, I can't. I'm like, no, you come in from Old Route 4. So those are issues.
They should know that.
I've actually tried to change that on the GPS with Google Maps, and you're talking deaf ears. It's just, I don't know. I don't know.
It was just.
Any influence on that with emergency vehicles counting on Lovebrook Road and coming in through Old Blackberry Hill Road? Is that very?
Well, all of my police, fire, and public works people should know that that's not the way to come into Lovebrook, and I'm amazed at
Well, it was
and I'll-
South Berwick that came.
South Berwick.
Well, because we're right on the line, so they.
The only thing I can say is we should put up a sign that says not for public use.
there is one.
There is one.
There is one.
At the
Nobody
top,
bothers
yeah.
to read it.
Unmaintained, non-maintained, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So, but anyways, gentlemen, thank you. I don't know if any other residents can speak. I had my 5 minutes.
If anybody else wants to speak, is
I'm Terry Sullivan, I live on Lovebrook Road also. Just one other thing I wanted to add. To me, it's a bit of a safety issue for emergency vehicles. A couple of weeks ago, the condition of the road, it would have been difficult for a fire truck to get down that road. It would have delayed them. The school buses themselves, they have to crawl down the road or they're gonna bounce a kid through the roof. It's pretty rough. Another aspect that I'm concerned about is the school bus turnaround, which is right before the bridge on Lovebrook Road. Well, being a dirt road and half of it not maintained, we get various vehicles coming in there at night and doing things that they shouldn't be doing there. And my little son found hypodermic needles in the woods there. So having the road paved will also enable the police department to make regular routine patrols of the road and stop that kind of activity from happening. I don't need my kid getting stuck by a needle from somebody. To me, it's a safety issue. It's more of a safety issue than it is anything else. But it also, I'm lucky, I can afford 2 vehicles. I have a 4-wheel drive pickup truck. That's all I put on that road in the winter. And I have another car that I use for gas mileage for traveling for work that I refuse to drive it on the road because it's going to destroy it. To me, it's along with the safety, it's partly economical for me. I'm not sure about the other neighbors, but I just really hate driving a decent vehicle on the road. If there is plans to mill another road in Berwick, using those millings to top that road up wouldn't hurt until we have the money to pave it.
Typically, when we mill it, though, we reuse it right in the base on the road.
In the same place you
Right,
milled it out.
yeah. No. And as we did when we did Diamond Hill Road, we actually had to haul more material in even after that.
Yeah.
So, well,
That's really all I had. Thank you.
thank you.
I'm just gonna, go ahead, John.
Yeah, just John, 84 Lovebrook Road. I echo everything they say. Just, I'm at the bottom. I mean, my drainage and bills at the street side is ice dammed, and I'm down about 6 inches. I have to go in and go down about 6 inches. It does do damage to vehicles. I do have a Jeep, and it's still almost scraping the bottom, so there's good clearance there. It's washing down the road. So we just call the town or the road commissioner for the culvert processing.
There's the road commissioner.
Yeah, I mean, it's corroded. I'm corroded. It was corroded. It's been a year. I get standing water out there in the middle of the summer. So, I mean, there's some corrosion. It's blocking. And I think with the freeze thaw, we just...
I will come out tomorrow morning and take a look at it with Robert.
Yeah.
And we'll make a list of what we need to do.
Great.
And I'll get him on it.
Great.
Take care of it.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
I just want to make one comment as well. As far as, the repairs that you have.
If you could state your name, sir, as for everybody at home.
Christopher Olio, Lovebrook Road. I've witnessed a lot of repairs. As a matter of fact, I thank you for sending out the road crews more frequently. I've been a resident there for 18 plus years. The grading would take place typically 3 to 4 times a year with an actual grader when we had it back then. That only went on for probably about the first 5 years I was there. Our grader probably fell under disrepair and we scrapped it, whatever we did with it.
Did you ever have a rail?
Sure.
The grader when we finally got rid of it was like 40 years old.
But I do remember being a resident there early
Right,
on.
yeah, we did have the full grader.
You had a grader and it would be there 4 times a year, and we were doing the guys do a pretty good job with the grader. Now, since the grader has fell into disrepair and we've lost that grader, we've only borrowed in that whole time, we've only borrowed South Berwick's grader 1 time, and that was last year.
It was last year.
And I actually had made a call. I did recall speaking with you directly about getting this road graded.
Yep.
I think my biggest concern is that what we're doing right now is we're putting materials on the road and we're using a bucket loader to back drag it. We're back dragging loose material into existing potholes, which come back within a day or two, or the first rainfall for sure. And another problem is that the road is not crowned properly when we're using a bucket loader. And a lot of that material that we're using is actually going into the drainage ditches. We're wasting money, wasting resources, basically. When I see all that fill being dragged into the ditches, it's creating 2 issues. It's preventing drainage properly, and it's just adding to the demise of the road much more quicker. So there's a lot of resources that we're using that I feel are kind of, at this point, being wasted. I mean, if we can't get the road paved this year, and I completely understand, we need to really do something much more proactive so that you're spending less time coming up and repairing the road. We're not complaining, And the drainage is.
Oh, please complain.
Well, that's why we're here.
Oh,
We're not-
we need to hear this.
I don't want to come off as a complainer, but
No,
I
no.
have been
Right.
dubbed the Love Brook Ninny by many of my neighbors because I would be the one bitching about the road and then making the call to either Steve or the maintenance guys. And I applaud you because usually within 48 hours after my call, somebody's up there addressing it. But we're just putting, we're just patching it. We're not doing the job the right way. We're putting
As the town manager said, is over the last few years, we've heard a lot from the people on the unmaintained portion. This is the first time we've heard from this group.
They should be
So,
the last ones to complain because their portion of the road is horrible. They still have to travel that road.
Right.
And to my wife's point, everybody that lives on that road, 16 houses, more drivers, kids coming up of
Right.
age, they're now driving. The school buses, if you count one school bus that comes there in the morning and in the afternoon, that's 4 trips. In, out, in, out. So we got 12 trips with school buses alone a day. We've got FedEx trucks, UPS trucks, oil delivery trucks, you name it. There's a lot of traffic, a lot more than what we had 18 years ago. Whatever you guys can do to help us out,
Yep.
we appreciate it.
Well, we are hoping to add an extra person to Public Works, so I have more people to do the work that needs to be done, because 4 people can't keep up with it, and one of them is the foreman. And it's just, there's a lot of work to be done on the infrastructure in this town. I've been here 3.5 years, and we've been plugging away at it, but we need to spend more money and more time.
It's a constant
I don't
cycle.
disagree with you.
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Very good. We have no public hearing tonight. Reports of committees is the BCTV committee is Terry's training somebody right now, so she's
Yeah.
in doing
No
that.
report, she said.
I will say that we've been working on the new studio space. We're hoping to get some quotes for painting, get that going, and hopefully by the end of the month they'll be into that space.
That'd be nice.
So, Envision Berwick were you asked to do a report for Envision Berwick, Rick? You don't have to.
I don't really have anything new.
Okay.
We haven't met since I talked to you last.
Right. So our next one is Rick Vandenberg. Recreation Master Plan.
Thank you. Again, Rick Vandenberg, 51 East Pasture Road, Chairman of the Ad Hoc Recreation Master Planning Committee. I figured I'd come by tonight and get on the agenda just to talk a little bit more about what we've done since I've been here last. As I alluded to, when I delivered the plan or the draft plan to you last time, I told you that there's a few things that we're still working on. We continue to work on those things, except we've gotten a lot further, especially with this idea of looking how recreation and the recreation department should be funded or could be funded going into the future. We sort of got our heads collectively wrapped around kind of that issue, and then kind of are in the process of forming some opinions and doing some writing about that. And there's a couple of very small sections that we plan on inserting into the plan right about the funding part early on. I think it's around page 3 where we're going to insert that, and we're going to insert a reference to a living appendix. Not that the plan won't be a living document itself, but the appendix really should be something that we're kind of envisioning will be updated on an annual basis, and will describe how we can do all this great work. Because you hear the town has really dramatic needs in a lot of areas, obviously, and coming from the recreation department, we think that, or not the department, but this committee taking a look at recreation, we want to move that ball forward too in the future. And so our focus has been with funding is to try to figure out how we can do a lot with what we already have, and that is, you collect taxes, and some of that tax money goes to the recreation department and becomes part of plans. We're trying to figure out how we can look back and utilize some of that money, and then look forward and restructure things and continue to use some of that budget. And so we think that's a critically important piece of this plan, and so we're continuing to work on it. And I think the next step, with the town manager's permission, would be to maybe perhaps sit down with the town manager and sit down with the finance director and kind of go over kind of the numbers that we've been kind of creating, and just make sure that we're all sort of on the same page as to what we're seeing, and kind of, that will help us, I think, kind of finalize that last piece.
Okay.
I think that could be done in relative short order, and I think that I've heard through Patty that perhaps, you know, this is the best, you know, the warrant article that we kind of gave to the town manager is best to be kind of dealt with in November.
Yep.
And I think that's what everybody's opinion is. We'll still kind of continue to push forward and kind of get things to a point where we're not only really comfortable with it as a committee, but hopefully the selectmen can be really comfortable with it, and then we can get it out there to the public, you know, in earnest, and really receive comments for as long as it takes to kind of have everybody kind of ask the questions that they want to and get to the kind of the points that we're at. And that's really it. And I don't know if you have questions tonight for me on what I've given you, but you know, I'll continue to come to meetings and give updates, and sort of let you know where we stand.
Thanks, Rick.
Any questions of Rick?
Well, I'm just glad there's attention finally paid to that plan, so
Great.
this is great.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. That brings us to appointments, or actually reappointments. We have 2 reappointments to the Recreation Commission. We have Natalie Gould. She wants reappointment to Recreation Commission for a 3-year term. Natalie's been on the commission for quite a while, I believe. She's chairperson right now, I believe, also. You know, and since these are reappointments, we typically don't have the people come back in.
Right.
So, do I have a motion to reappoint Natalie?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? And then we have Marnie Tebow. There's a reappointment to Recreation Commission for 1 year. I don't know Marnie, but if she wants to be on the Recreation Committee, I say more power to her.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? And I thank both of them. People like that you know, volunteer to do these jobs that keep us going. So I appreciate everybody that does volunteer and help out.
Definitely.
Unfinished business, we have nothing listed. There's a town manager report.
We are trying to get a tri-town meeting that we missed because of the accident we had here. April 11th, I did send out an email to everybody. I got Mark said he could make it, and I'm hoping that that's the date everybody else can be there. So,
I know that the superintendent, Steve Connolly, had asked if we could do it other than on a Thursday.
yeah.
But
North Berwick and Lebanon are kind of pushing, I think, for the 11th if we can do that.
I can make it. I'm
Yeah.
just, you know, that was his concern before that.
Well, he
being on
was
a
concerned
Thursday.
because the kids are on vacation the
Well,
prior
no,
day.
he said before, just meetings on Thursdays, because that's when they have their
Oh,
meetings
that's
also.
true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thursdays are never good for me, but I will see what I can do for that one.
yeah,
Okay.
so,
We'll
the 11th.
see if we can do that then.
Yeah.
I have union negotiations next week. Hopefully that will finish them up. The only thing we have to work on is wages, which of course is always the highlight of union contract stuff. We actually touched base with Mark Gahea on Monday. We had a conference call with him to go over Crederi with Rick's recommendations for changes. And I think we'll be moving forward on all that. We also got to speak with him about the couple of contractors who are interested in purchasing the property. He seemed pretty anxious to get on that. We met with a second one last week, Rick and I and James, and someone Mark had spoken to before, so he's familiar with Mark and vice versa. And he's still interested in trying to do something, had a very different perspective on how to get this project going. So Mark actually said that he would like to conference call with one of them on next Wednesday. So, but I haven't heard back from either at this point if they can do that or not, but I hope they can. Both groups are very capable of taking this project and running with it. So.
Joe Reynolds did say today that he could, you know, he was one of the other interested parties. He said that he could meet with Mark, and I think they agreed to talk at 10.
Yeah, they looked like they had hooked up to talk.
Yeah.
So,
So Mark is looking to unload the properties next week?
Either that or
We're
partner with-
hoping.
That's what I hope as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things will move forward
Yeah.
when that happens.
No, is a couple different contractors have come by and taken a look at the project and expressed a lot of interest in it. And the one I met with is some pretty innovative ideas about what he can do there.
Yeah, and the work
And,
he's done has been within village areas, and the work, quality of the work is great. They're very creative. It's he and his wife, and very big company that have done some work, and I'm hoping that they'll hook up.
And Kahaya, you know, seems very encouraged at the idea of selling it. So hopefully,
Perhaps, I mean, it's not his forte, I think it's, it was an investment for him.
right.
Yep.
I think that that's the best way, it's his property,
Yeah.
Right.
ultimately.
So we're pushing that pretty hard. I'd like to see somebody break ground this summer, just to see something happen there. Because I think once we get somebody in one of the buildings, if they go into the existing buildings, it will start to catch on. Because
Well, I think it'll reinvigorate the town. I think
Yeah.
right now we have this,
we have about 10 different retail, commercial groups that have asked about coming here, and we send them to marketing. It doesn't seem to go anywhere, but we stay in touch, and sometimes we see them. So they're on the to-do list once we have somebody new, hopefully. Budget highlights. Once I get through the contract negotiations, I have put enough money in there to cover some of the increases that they would like. We've increased the fire department bottom line for part-time so they can go 24/7 and have 2 people on staff per shift, which would be helpful. I expect that we'll be advertising for positions upcoming. We've increased the use of the Lena Clark Trust Fund for this building. We're going to be doing the floors in the auditorium, which are probably going to be the last time you can do it. They've been done so often. And also to finish up the phase 3 of the electrical work to replace the screw-in fuses. And of course, the biggest expense we'll have this year is going to be roads. That's where we've seen almost double the amount of money, and we have a lot to do. So hopefully we can maintain that number and push forward. That's just pretty much the highlights. So I think that's all I have.
Thank you. Selectmen Communications is for the second meeting in a row. I do not have anything from Comcast, which is very surprising. Usually they have something for me to say. We did receive one letter. There's somebody interested. There's going to be an open position on the sewer board. We have one person that sent in a inquiry about it. I think the opening would be in June, I believe, is when that
Yep.
term. So-
Yeah, there's 2. The one term is John England. Just have 1 more year left on that term. And then you have Lisa's position. She hasn't decided whether she's going to do it or not. And that's a 3-year term. So there's, and Kevin Gray, who was on the Envision Berwick group, has expressed an interest in possibly serving on that as well.
Right, he had his name in last time, but he didn't come to
Didn't
the
show.
meeting, right.
Yeah,
So-
it'd be good to have him.
Yeah,
He's a financial guy, which I think is a real benefit. And Dustin actually works in this sewage treatment facility, so he knows the
Portland,
business.
so.
Good addition.
Quick question for Patty while I'm talking, is positions for selectmen and school board. Is one person taking out papers for the selectmen?
For the selectmen.
Nobody-
No one for school board.
And when is the end date on that?
April 12th, I believe, whatever that Friday is.
Yeah, that sounds like about right. So if anybody's interested, running for selectmen or for school board, you have till April 12th to take papers out. I just want to report, I went to Augusta last Wednesday to the Appropriations Committee. The governor was proposing her budget, or parts of her budget. I went up there specifically to talk about revenue sharing. is by statute is supposed to go back up to 5%. It's been at 2%. It's supposed to go to 5% in July. Governor Mills has proposed that they go to 2.5% this year and 3% next year. For Berwick, that difference between the 2.5% and 5% is about $500,000.
$500,000,
You
yeah.
know, in a year. So this road money is the governor's manager got up and gave their proposal, and then I was one of probably 40 selectmen, town managers, mayors, fire chiefs, police chiefs getting up and complaining that 2.5% isn't enough. This has been in statute since the 90s. It was started being cut back in 2006, was the first cut. Like I said, by statute, it's supposed to be 5% of sales and income taxes comes back to the town, and it hasn't been. Berwick has lost probably close to $4 million over that period of time. I was talking to people I know in the State House afterwards, and there's some indication that we may get more than 2.5%, but not to expect 5%, which is very disheartening. And that's it for that. Approvals of the accounts payable. We have account payable warrant 1937 from March 14th, 2014 for the amount of $134,926.51. We have a water warrant 0937 from March 14th, 2019 for the amount of $437.65. Account payable warrant 1938 from March 21st, 2019 for the amount of $80,495.61. We have a water warrant 0938 from March 21st, 2019 for the amount of $1,900.40. $980. Sorry about that. $1,980.40. We have a payroll warrant from March 21st, 2019. That's number 1938 for the amount of $51,253.52. And we have an account payable warrant 1939 for March 28th, 2019 for the amount of $55,689.91. I'll make a motion that we pay our bills. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. All right. Now the meat and potatoes. First up, we have bond bank issue and approval. This is the bond for the $6 million that we are using to fund our new fire station. We did get approved for
Got
that.
approved last week.
What's the interest rate?
I don't know yet.
Oh.
That is yet to come.
All right.
I'm hoping it's what they have up on their amortization schedule.
Okay. Is a very official proposed vote here. I will read the vote and then somebody can make a motion. There's a proposed vote voted by the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Berwick, Maine as follows. 1, that pursuant to the approval by the town meeting of Article 5 of the 2018 town meeting warrant, which approved a project consisting of the design, construction, and improvements of a new fire station and the design, construction, and improvements for a police department building renovation, the project. The Board of Selectmen is utilizing its authority to issue general obligation securities of the town of Berwick, Maine for the project. 2, that the treasurer and chairman of the select board be authorized to issue a general obligation bond or bonds to the Maine Municipal Bond Bank in the amount not to exceed $6 million for the purpose of funding the project. 3, that the treasurer and chairman be further authorized to fix the dates, maturities, denominations, interest rate, place of payment, form, and other details of said securities, including the execution, sale, and delivery of said securities against payment therefor. 4, that the treasurer and chairman be further authorized to execute a loan agreement with the Maine Municipal Bond Bank in such form as the bank may require, that the clerk is directed to affix the corporate seal thereto and attest the signatures of the treasurer and chairman, and to file a copy of said loan agreement when signed with the records of this meeting, although the attestant and affixing of the corporate seal thereto shall not be deemed essential to the validity of the loan agreement, and that the bonds are hereby sold to the Maine Municipal Bond Bank at par. 5, that the Board of Selectmen hereby confirms its determination that the term of the bond does not exceed 120% of the economic life of the project. 6, that the bonds are designated qualified tax-exempt obligations of the town under the provisions of Section 265, subsection B, subsection 3 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended. 7, that the treasurer and chairman of the Board of Selectmen are hereby authorized to execute and deliver any and all documents and certificates, and to take any and all actions, including the affixing of the seal of the town, as may be necessary or convenient to carry out the full purpose and intent of the foregoing vote. So,
So I would move that we approve the proposed vote as read by the chairman of the board.
I'll second.
any discussion? I just like to make the comment that as chairman of the board, I don't like my name being on it. It's $6 million obligation. But, no further discussion? All those in favor? Thanks, I guess. All right. Oh, that's in this package. So this is, I don't know if the rest of the selectmen or this, Patty, this is all, the other selectmen don't have to sign this? No, so Steve and I can take care of that afterwards?
There's 3 of us, Patty,
Yep.
yourself, and me. Yep.
Yep. Whew, okay. All right, the 2019 tax ratio declaration and reimbursement application.
That's
Can you explain that a little bit?
a little bit. This is a percentage tax ratio that we say what we're declaring for the percentage of value for the homes and the businesses based on what our values we have for valuation. We have been, last year we did 100%, the year before that we were at 105% of value. And this is, he's declaring that we're going to be at 100%, which we will, because we have a reval that will be completed by August, so we'll be committing taxes at 100% of the value. This is required every year.
So we just need a motion to accept the
Yep.
ratio.
Yep.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I just noticed that the homestead property tax exemption is, the total number of homestead exemptions granted is actual or estimated is 1,400. So, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Thank you. Now, the long one.
The long one.
The June 11th, 2019 town election, the board to vote on warrant articles. There are 43 articles, I believe. 44. Oh, somebody added one. I will read an article. Have any questions, we'll have those answered, and then we'll do a vote. There's yes and no on the vote. So Article 1 is to elect a moderator to preside over the meeting. Article 2, to elect by secret ballot 1 selectman for 3 years and 1 school board member for 3 years. Article 3, shall the town vote to adopt the proposed amendments of the land use ordinance? Exhibit A is attached. Is either the ones that we went through last meeting, is, do I have a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 3. Article 4, shall the town adopt the proposed amendments to the land use ordinance regarding adult use marijuana? And again, this is an article that we went over a couple meetings ago now.
Move Article 4 as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Article 5, shall the town vote to adopt the proposed amendments to the littering and animal waste ordinance? That's the one where we putting some fines to the actual littering waste and thing. They had it in before but didn't have any teeth to it, so.
Teeth to it. Yeah, we've had a lot of complaints of people who do walking on all of our roads about people not picking up after their dogs.
Yeah, especially right over here.
And on your road too, yeah. Here it's real bad, but
So,
I move Article 4 as presented.
5.
Article 5.
Oh, I'm sorry, Article 5.
Second.
All those in favor? Now we get to the money ones. Article 6. Shall the town vote to use up to $2,714,355 from estimated revenues to reduce the amount to be raised by taxation in fiscal year 2019-20, which begins July 1st, 2019?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Article 7. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $304,981 for the general expense account for fiscal year 2019-20?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Article 8. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $389,331 for the town administration account for fiscal year 2019-20?
Move Article 8 as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Article 9. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $282,342 for the town clerk account for the fiscal year 2019-20?
Move Article 9 as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Article 10. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $124,759 for the planning and ordinance account for fiscal year 2019-20?
Move Article 10 as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Article 11. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $113,153 for the assessor's office account for fiscal year 2019-20?
Move Article 11 as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Article 12. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $154,850 for the town hall account for the fiscal year 2019-20?
Move Article 12 as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Article 13. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 for the general assistance account for fiscal year 2019-20?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Article 14. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,721,149 for the police department account for fiscal year 2019-20?
Move Article 14 as presented.
Second.
Those in favor? Article 15, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $969,414 for the fire department account for fiscal year 2019-20?
I move Article 15 as presented.
Second?
And those in favor? Article 16, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $980,526 for the public works account for fiscal year 2019-20?
I move Article 16 as presented.
Second?
Those in favor? Article 17, shall the town vote to authorize the expenditure of all revenues received from the State of Maine Urban Rural Initiative Program for fiscal year 2019-20 for road improvements as authorized by the program with unspent balances to be carried forward each year?
I move Article 17 as presented.
Second?
In favor? Article 18, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $450,250 for the refuse disposal account for fiscal year 2019-20?
Move Article 18 as presented.
Second?
Those in favor? Article 19, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $132,342 for the recreation account for fiscal year 2019-20?
Move Article 19 as presented.
Second?
Those in favor? Article 20, shall the town vote to appropriate the sum of $92,855 for debt service to cover this appropriation for fiscal year 2019-20, as authorized by passage of Article 31 and 32 at the 2016 annual town meeting?
I move Article 20 as presented.
Second?
Those in favor? Article 21, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $24,450 for the Community Agency Appropriations Account for fiscal year 2019-20?
Move Article 21 as presented.
Second?
I just let people know that this includes the Coast Bus Service, the American Legion Citizen Recognition Dinner, the Memorial Holiday decorations, and the Seacoast Shipyard Association.
What did we give to the
What?
coast this year?
What's that?
What did we give to the coast,
Same as last year.
same as last year?
Yeah, 20,000.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Thank you. Article 22. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $196,388 for the annual fire protection costs for fiscal year 2019-20?
Move Article 22 as presented.
Second?
Those in favor? Oh boy, a long one. Shall the town vote to appropriate the sum of $250,000 from unassigned fund balance for fiscal year 2019-20 and authorize its use for road, bridge, and sidewalk construction and repairs, as well as town parking lots and public ways, and including expenses for curbing, drainage, and engineering fees when required, with the funds to be used in conjunction with the State of Maine Urban Rural Initiative Program, with unspent balances to be carried forward each year?
Move Article 23 as presented.
Second?
Those in favor? I just want to make a comment that these ones with the roads and things with unspent balances carried forward each year, we usually don't have any unspent balances. Article 24, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $350,000 for its use of road, bridge, and sidewalk construction and repairs, as well as town parking lots and public ways, and including expenses for curbing, drainage, and engineering fees when required, with the funds to be used in conjunction with the State of Maine Urban Rural Initiative Program, with unspent balances to be carried forward each year?
Move Article 24 as presented.
Second?
Those in favor? Article 25, Shall the town vote to appropriate the sum of $34,000 from the Lena Clark Trust account for the purpose of continuing the electrical upgrades necessary at the town hall and place this amount into the town building capital reserve account for fiscal year 2019-20 with unspent balances to be carried forward each year until fully expended?
Move Article 25 as presented.
Second.
Those in favor? As the town manager alluded to this earlier, we've been in the process of upgrading our electrical panels as we went from the old twisted, circuits to real circuits. And I think this year they're gonna redo the lead from coming off the pole into the building, right?
That will be done this spring.
Which I believe is the original,
Yeah,
one from
original.
1928.
yeah. And also, just so the public knows that this $34,000 is only interest that we earn on the Lena Clark Trust. We are not allowed to touch the principal, so it accumulates every year. And this year we're only using $34,000, and it has a balance of around $77,000 left in it. So,
Article 26. Shall the town vote to appropriate the sum of $30,000 to purchase an access control system for the town hall and public works garage and place this amount into the town building capital reserve account for fiscal year 2019-20 with unspent balances to be carried forward each year until fully expended?
Move Article 26 as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Article 27. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $23,000 as a first lease payment for the purchase of 2 new police cruisers for fiscal year 2019-20, which begins July 21st, 2019, and place this amount into the police capital equipment account established for this purpose with unspent balances to be carried forward each year until fully expended, and authorize the Board of Selectmen to enter into a lease purchase agreement on terms it deems appropriate, with a balance to be repaid over a period no longer than 5 years.
I move Article 27 as presented.
Second.
Those in favor? Article 28. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $35,000 to purchase a stainless steel dump body to prolong the life of a 2000 plow truck for fiscal year 2019-20 and place this amount into the Public Works capital vehicle account established for this purpose with the unspent balances to be carried forward each year until fully expended?
Move Article 28 as presented.
Second.
Those in favor?
I thought we did this last year.
you did. He had requested 2 stainless steel bodies last year. We only gave him 1.
Because we needed to buy the sidewalk plow.
Yeah. This year, and the truck only has about 48,000 miles on it, and it's not a big truck, it's one of the smaller trucks, and it's a stainless steel body, so this will, and we couldn't put it on the road this year because it wouldn't pass inspection.
Okay, thank you.
Article 29. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $37,000 for fiscal year 2019-20, which begins July 1st, 2019, and authorize its use to continue addressing storm drainage system outfall issues identified by the Maine DEP during an audit of the town's stormwater drainage system, and place this amount into the planning capital reserve account established for this purpose with unspent balances to be carried forward each year until fully expended?
Move Article 29 as presented.
Second.
Those in favor? Article 30. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $213,160 in interest and principal for debt service in fiscal year 2019-20 as authorized by passage of Article 5 at the November 6, 2018 election? This is for the bond issue that we just approved
For the fire station, yep.
for the fire station.
I move Article 30 as presented.
Second.
Those in favor? Article 31. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $21,634 for debt service in fiscal year 2019-20 2019-20 as authorized by the passage of Article 37 at the 1997 annual town meeting. And this is going towards payment on the debt for the water treatment plant.
I move Article 31 as presented.
Second.
And I'll just note that there are 10 more years of payment on this bond. Wow. Is all those in
Time for another
favor?
one.
All those in favor? Thank you. Article 32. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 and authorize the Board of Selectmen to hold it in a contingency account and to use it to meet unanticipated expenses and emergencies that might occur during fiscal year 2019-20, and unspent balances to be carried forward each year.
Move Article 32 as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Article 33. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $109,000 as a contribution to the Berwick Library Association for fiscal year 2019-20, which begins July 1st, 2019.
I move Article 33 as presented.
Second.
Those in favor? Article 34. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $24,000 for the federal stormwater program for fiscal year 2019-20 and place this amount into the account established for this purpose with unspent balances to be carried forward each year until fully expended?
Move Article 34 as presented.
Second.
Those in favor? Article 35. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $15,000 for economic development purposes for fiscal year 2019-20 and place this amount into the account established for this purpose with unspent balances to be carried forward each year until fully expended?
Move Article 35 as presented.
Second.
Those in favor? Article 36. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,000 for emergency management for fiscal year 2019-20 and place this amount into the account established for this purpose with unspent balances to be carried forward each year until fully expended?
I move Article 36 as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Article 37. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $90,000 for SCBA personal protective gear, mobile radio, AIS heart monitor, and Verta V100 simulator for fiscal year 2019-20, and place this amount into the account established for this purpose with unspent balances to be carried forward each year until fully expended?
Move Article 37 as presented.
Second.
Those in favor? Article 38. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $20,000 for fiscal year 2019-20 and 4 consecutive fiscal years following for fuel tank replacement at the Public Works as required by the DEP?
I move Article 38 as presented.
Second.
Those in favor? Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,600 for customer service window replacement for fiscal year 2019-20?
I move Article 39 as presented.
Second.
Those in favor? I guess I should have said 5,600 rather than 5,600, but. Article 40. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $15,000 for the unfunded liabilities account for fiscal year 2019-20 and place this amount in the account established for this purpose with unspent balances to be carried forward each year until fully expended?
I move Article 40 as presented.
Second.
Those in favor? Article 41. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $25,000 for the fiscal year 2019-20 in consecutive fiscal years for grant matching funds to be placed into this account and carried forward each year.
Move Article 41 as presented.
Second.
This funding is going towards grant program for doing roads and community block grants, those types of things for improvement, so. All those in favor? Article 42. Shall the town vote to authorize the use of interest money from the Lena Clark Trust Fund interest account when there are major repairs or maintenance needs at the town hall? As the town manager pointed out earlier, this has been established. We can't touch the principal in this. We can only expend the interest.
We have to vote on that every year.
Yeah, if you're gonna expend money,
If we spend money out of it, yes.
yes.
Okay. Move Article 42 as presented. I thought that was a running.
Thought what?
I thought that was already voted on in previous years, and that's all it would be spent for anyway. So I didn't know if we had to do that every year.
Yeah,
I think we've discussed this in the past.
Yeah.
It's been on every warrant.
Has it?
Since Lena Clark
Sure,
Trust Fund was
question.
established.
Yeah, I just remember discussing it
Yeah.
in the past if we needed to keep doing it, so, but, not a problem with it.
I think because maybe we have to give the interest balance every year.
That may be, yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. Works for me.
Yeah.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor? Article 43. Shall the town vote to charge interest on unpaid taxes at the rate of 8% per annum and to set the date when taxes committed for fiscal year 2019-2020, be July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020, become due and payable as of October 14th, 2019 and April 16th, 2020, with said interest to be collected after October 15th, 2019 and April 14th, 2020, and allow the tax collector to accept payment for taxes prior to the tax commitment date.
Can we make a change
Yeah.
to that? Can we change April 14th to April 17th?
17th, so noted.
That makes more sense.
All right.
I move Article 43 with noted amendment as stated.
Second.
All those in favor? Article 44. Shall the town vote to set an interest rate of 4% as allowed by state law as a rate to be paid to taxpayers who pay amounts in excess of amounts finally assessed and authorize any such interest paid or abatements granted to be charged against the annual overlay?
I would move Article 44 as presented.
I'll second.
Those in favor? I don't think I missed any this year.
No, you didn't.
Last 2 years, I've missed one. And do you have a sign-off sheet on that?
No, not until April 9th. I have to
Okay,
put it all together now.
very good. Whew. Moving on. We have no quitclaim deeds or installment contracts.
Nope.
We have one abatement supplemental. This is a parcel off of Little River Road. It's a 49-acre parcel. Is 39 acres are classified as tree growth. Is the owners want to take 4 acres out of the tree growth, and as such, they have to pay a penalty. And there's a long, complicated, explanation about how they come to the penalty. But it's recommended that an approval for the tree growth application and the tree growth penalty in the amount of $1,347.05 be granted.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I'll just, say that, if you have it in tree growth and you take it out, is you're taxed at a lower rate. So if you take it out, they figure out what the difference is, and that's where this penalty comes from. So, all right. All those in favor? Thank you. That brings us to our second public comment. Does anybody else wants to get up to speak? Step to the microphone, state your name. Oh, go right ahead, Ken. Come on, Ken, you can do it.
I only have one question. When are we gonna know what the mill rate is?
Say that again?
The mill rate is,
We won't know until August.
That late?
That's when we commit taxes. And everything gets added up after April 1st. They have to add in any new building, any decrease in buildings, if they claim that they've eliminated some of their buildings. Plus, they're in the middle of a reval, and they're going to be finishing the revals in time to commit taxes.
Oh, I just thought it was earlier in that.
Yeah.
as it is now with our budget, the town budget, we're holding steady, correct?
Yeah.
But
But-
was that with the school and county
Yeah,
figured
it's,
in?
it's premature to say that, but we
Well-
don't know what the budget's going to be for
Right.
the school department.
Or the county?
So, yeah, and
But
it
looks
we-
like now we're trying to hold it flat.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Okay, thank you much.
Not a problem, thank you. Any other? No? We have no executive session. Any other business non-agenda items?
No.
No.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now you guys know where your rest of your taxes go to now.
We just got that low down.
I'm a banker, so I wanna know where you're getting all your interest from the